I asked the question a couple of days ago. How many of you can raise your hand with this. How many of you have kids? Fuck, too bad. But anyway, you have kids, okay? Don't raise your hand now. How many of you would like to have your kids grow up just like your parents? You know the answer, don't you? Close to zero. Because they were shitty role models. Now, I'm not going to ask the second question. How many of you would like your kids to grow up and be like you? Allah forbid. God forbid. But being a high-performance person is a full-time job. Michael's known me over 20 years. I'm like this when I wake up in the morning to brush my teeth. I'm like this when I brush my teeth before I go to sleep. I'm like this 24/7, 365, and I've been like this for the better part of 50 years. I'm always like this. I'm always pushing the edge of the envelope. And that's why, I'm an overnight success. I've been coaching 25 and a half years, but all of a sudden I'm popular as hell, but I've been doing this for 50 years. I have the same habits today as I had 50 years ago. The exact same habits. But they're just ingrained in me. They're ingrained in me. And for those of you that have never been around the high-performance people like I just alluded to, the Warren Buffetts, Elon Musk, God rest his soul, Steve Jobs, who I happen to have known, they were like this 24/7, 365. It wasn't an act. We have 2 tests on my website. All my stuff's free, by the way. One is called a snowflake test. 96.4% of the people that take the snowflake test fail. 60 hours a week. Nobody is willing to work 60 hours a week to be successful. Nobody's willing to miss an anniversary, wedding anniversary to be successful. Nobody is willing to miss a holiday. If you booked a holiday and something important happened in business, would you tell your family to go on the holiday without you? And you're not going to go. Nobody said yes. And it's got 27 questions or 26 questions, and they flunked that test worse than the other test. Because you're not willing to make any sacrifices to be high performance. I still work 50, 60, I don't consider it work. I still work 50, 60 hours a week. And I haven't had to work in 35 years. 35 years. But the world has changed. I mean, and the kids, and when I started giving all my product away for free about 10 years ago, and the reason I went from the highest priced product on the planet to zero. So the bottom line, you're not willing to do anything. You're not willing to sacrifice anything to be a high-performance person. I.e.,
it's all for free on your website. All
right.
The tests, all the information.
Everything's free.
The audiobook is on. Can we buy the book still, the red one?
No, the first 100 million is audio for free. And then the book that I think is better than that is the $50 billion ebook, which is also free. There's 16.8 gigs of free material. Everything that I've ever produced is free. Because I wanted to take the last excuse from that guy and that guy and that gal why you didn't do it. So I give it to you. I certainly don't need the money. I only charge, as I was telling you the other night at dinner, I used to give seminars at the airport, 1,000 people, for free in the 90s. Absolutely 100% free. And I fed them lunch. And we had cocktails afterwards. And I wanted the poor kids to understand that they had a methodology. There was a methodology used by one of them, and I'm considered for poor, although it's hard-pressed for me to say how they don't believe that I'm poor now. But I mean, that was once poor and got in a lot of trouble. You can do it if you want to do it bad enough. The operative part of that little description is if you want it bad enough. Muhammad Ali, which used to be Cassius Clay, the great fighter, arguably one of the greatest fighters ever, he was talking shit since he was 14, 15 years old. I'm the greatest. before he ever had a professional fight. In athletics, it's more accepted to talk shit. Okay? You've been trained, keep your head down, don't embarrass yourself, don't embarrass the family, don't say things that may not happen. And I do just the opposite. I tell you to set goals beyond your lifetime. I tell you to set goals as soon as humanly possible. When kids come to me, they want to make 1 million, 10 million, you know, and then when they've made 100 million, they say, Mr. Pena, we would have never, ever dreamt that we could create 100 million until we met you. You will never exceed your highest expectation. You will never exceed your highest, craziest thought. Never. That's a guarantee. And so then why, other than you've been taught by your parents in conventional wisdom, to set low goals? They've told you, the theory is you set low goals so then you can stair-step achievement and you won't be as disappointed when you fail. That's the theory. But normally the person or the persons that have proposed that theory are poor. Are poor. On my website, we have teenage multimillionaires flying around in their own jet planes. Teenage multimillionaires flying around in their own jet planes. They understand that?
I think they do.
Okay. You should be embarrassed. Teenage multimillionaires flying around in their own jet plane. And he's the one that had the 15-speed bicycle. That's why I use it a lot. He's not a teenager anymore. He's 21. If he were standing right here, Josh Kim. He's half Korean, half Caucasian. But the one thing that they all have in common is they're fucking hungry. Hungry for a better life. Hungry for change. Hungry for the tough love their parents didn't give them.
So is that what it needs? You have to be hungry. You need to feel the pain.
Growth only comes through pain. Most of you have been taught taking action is listening to a podcast. Taking action is reading a book. Taking action is taking a course online. No. Taking action is pulling the fucking trigger. You know, I say in 4 words what most people say in a book. Just fucking do it.